So before we start part two, what we've learned is that understanding yourself is really powerful, but understanding alone is not what creates change. Before you can choose to do something differently that actually creates change, you have to discover something really cool about being a human. And that is that you are more than your thoughts, your emotions, and your automatic reactions. In this section, you're going to learn more about that observing self, which is that quiet awareness within you that makes choice possible. Right now, I want you to just notice whatever it is that's going on in your mind. And my cat. Do you hear my cat? Here he comes. Hey, look at my cat. Isn't he cute? He is. He's very cute. How cute you are. You can't stay here. You have to leave. Maybe you could sit over here? Or over there? Or literally anywhere else? You're a pretty boy. Pretty Marsh. I'm trying to film a video. You're interrupting. I mean, you're so cute. Say hi. Say hi to the camera. You gotta look at the camera. You're making your debut. Oh. Did you hear that thunder? Oh, okay, that's not gonna work, baby. I want to try a little experiment. For 10 seconds, I want you to close your eyes, and I just want you to pay attention to what's going on in your mind. Are you ready? Go. That was 10 seconds. Did you notice anything? Were you thinking about how much longer this was going to be? Who noticed what was going on in your head? Who was that presence that was noticing? Was that you that was noticing? It's kind of a weird question. It's kind of one of the most important questions we're going to ask in this course, and that I believe you can ask ever. We've been talking a lot about thoughts so far, about our brain, about our nervous system, protective strategies, emotions, and like all of the adaptations that we have created along the way to help ourselves. Oh, there's my cat again. That's happening. In this step, I want to talk about the part of you that has been noticing all of these things. One of the coolest things about being human is that we don't just have experiences. We can become aware of our experiences. We can notice, what's going on with us. An animal experiences fear, but human beings have the ability to notice, I'm afraid. That separates us from animals. We can notice, I'm thinking, I'm judging, I'm shutting down, I'm overthinking, maybe I'm getting defensive or feeling ashamed. The ability to notice is what we call conscious awareness. Awareness really does change everything. If you think about everything we've learned so far about how your brain and your body and your nervous system reacts for protection, before today, it might have felt like all of that stuff was happening to you. Like you're trapped inside of it, like you're in the movie instead of sitting in the movie theater watching the movie. The moment you start to notice conscious awareness, things start to change. If I can notice my anxiety, I can't only be my anxiety. If I notice my anger, I am not my anger. I'm noticing my anger. If I can notice my thoughts, then I won't be my thoughts. I'm just noticing them. There's a strategy and a feeling and a thought, and there's the one who notices all of those things. Now there's a relationship from one to the other. And once we discover that relationship, we can learn how to nurture it and use it to our advantage. Sometimes we can be so wrapped up in a thought or an emotion that it feels like it is us. Like this feeling or this thought is defining of who I am, how I feel is what I am. If I feel embarrassed, then I am cringe. If I feel regret, I am ashamed. We're coming in between the expression of whatever's going on inside of us and the witnesser of what's going on inside of us. When we notice it, rather than being in it, it creates just enough space for us to say, I am having this experience right now. And the experience is real, but it doesn't get to define all of my reality or determine how I respond. Now, being aware of these things doesn't create control over it, doesn't solve the problem either. It doesn't mean you never feel anxious or get angry, shut down, or overthink. Awareness is not the absence of experience. It's not the absence of pain. It's not going to get rid of that first arrow of suffering. But it's beginning to change the relationship between you and your experience. And that's a huge difference. In this way, you're not trying to eliminate the difficult things that happen to you or the thoughts and responses that you have. You're just learning to not collapse into them. Earlier in the course, we talked about the first and second arrow of suffering. Now remember, the first arrow hits you, and then all these automatic things start happening. All of these responses that are conditioned within your body and your brain. Awareness introduces something new, a space. That space might only be a fraction of a second, maybe only enough time to notice, oh, I'm activated. I'm dysregulated. It's a tiny space, but that tiny space changes everything because that is the moment where choice enters the chat. And over the next few lessons, we're going to learn how to strengthen that space. One of my favorite books called The Untethered Soul talks about how we all have this inner roommate inside of our head that's kind of talking to us about our experiences, about our feelings, about what those things mean about us and about the world. And I want you to ask yourself a question. If you were to take that inner roommate and put that voice into the body of a person that followed you around everywhere, would you like that person very much? Or would you tell them to get away from you? That inner critic is not what I'm talking about when I say a conscious awareness. Conscious awareness is the part of you that notices that inner critic, that inner roommate that never stops judging, evaluating, assessing everything around you. The witness inside of us is that compassionate, wise observer. It's the part of us that notices what's going on, the part that stays curious, the part that goes, that's interesting. I wonder why I just did that. I wonder why they just did that. And the witness doesn't eliminate your emotion. It helps you stay with your emotions with more wisdom and clarity rather than reacting to them. And that's a really, really different way of approaching your experiences. So if you remember one thing about what we learned today, it's the fact that you can observe your thoughts, which means that you're more than your thoughts. The fact that you can observe all of these emotions going on in your body means you're more than your emotions. You can observe your protective strategies, the adaptations that you created to survive, which means they're not part of your identity. We haven't mastered awareness yet. We'll get there. But I want you to leave this step knowing that there is a part of you that's capable of noticing your experience with curiosity and compassion. You may have been living from that part of yourself far less often than you'd like, but it's been there all along. And over the rest of this course, we're going to learn how to return to it and strengthen it more and more often.